So you guys are here because we make videos. I think that's why most people know us, is because of the videos that we put on YouTube. But there was a period of time, I think the first 2.5 years of the trip, you figure? Almost 3 years, where we really weren't doing videos. We were just sailing and we were just taking pictures and we were writing blogs. We wrote something like 200, almost 300 blogs?
325.
So we, up to this day, we wrote about 325 blogs, but I think at that point it was like 200 something blogs and change. And you know, we have these little point and shoot cameras and we were just having fun, and we take some random sporadic footage every now and then. And when we got to Australia, we ran out of money for the second time. And this was like broke time. This was like, you know, when I left Seattle, I had enough money to go for like 18 months, maybe 2 years. And this would have been like 2.5 years into the trip. So we stretched the last few months, like, you know, eating rice and catching fish and sailing on and off the anchor. And we arrived in Australia and we parked the boat in Bundaberg and we put her up on the hard and we rented a car on my Visa card and we drove down to Melbourne, Australia, because Karen was going to school there, which was nice. But we also had cruising friends that we met in French Polynesia that had a big house where we could stay for free. So that was the other thing, is they let us get on our feet. I started writing code again.
And they owned a Mexican restaurant.
And they owned a Mexican restaurant. Where, guess who got a job?
I know this game.
So Brady was slinging the old burritos. I was writing code out of our apartment. We called it the sweat box. Karen was in university, and Yosha was flipping burgers at a burger place right down the street. And our goal was to save up money. So we worked for 12 months, and we put together all of our money, and that's how we were able to go cruising from then on. Now, while we were doing this, I thought, you know, it's very cool to tell people about the blogs. And we were actually writing the blogs mostly for like our mom and our dad and our family and the friends that we'd left behind, so they could keep track on what we were up to. And it was fun to document your life. But me and Brady started thinking, well, what if we do this?
Because they're like, well, what are you really doing? Like, it's okay to tell a story written with some pictures, but show us what's going on. What are you really doing out there?
Yeah, and a picture is worth at least 1,000 words, and so how many words is a video worth? Like millions?
30 frames a second?
Something like that. So I played around with that footage. Just between coding projects, I sat there and I edited up these 2 videos, like the gang explores a volcano, and this is a trip about New Zealand. And you know, to do that was really fun because we were just working with these random shots with, you know, just all this mix of stuff, and the footage was like really shitty and it was shaky and the colors were bad, and it was, I mean, if I go back and look at these videos now, I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, we've learned so much since then, but it was really where everything started. So when we finished working and saving up our money and came back to the boat, we bought a camcorder similar to that one right there, like that Andy's holding up right now. And we said, okay, like, let's try to do this. Let's just film what we do without any planning, without any script or anything like that. We'll just kind of show us sailing and drinking and cursing and swimming and whatever it is we do, and then we'll put it together in a video. And the first one that we did, Brady edited, it was the one where we arrived in Australia and we take the boat off the hard and we put her in the water, and then we bring a cruising boat to life that's been sitting there for like a year in mothballs. And that was that project, and it was a lot of fun. And it went really well, so then we continued doing it. And that was really the start for all of this.
Yeah, and I mean, we have some really cool numbers here, because Brian was definitely a numbers guy, so he wrote down some numbers here.
Electrical engineer.
Yeah. So we said we had 325 blogs up to date. So we have 95 videos. I mean, the 95th video was released yesterday. I'm sure you guys watched that one though.
Yep.
How was that? Oh, it's happy. It's good. It's life. Shit happens, yeah.
Life is a crazy bitch.
So all in all, we have 18 terabytes of footage floating around the boat somewhere in these little hard drives in our storage area network. And this is something that's pretty crazy, but there's 38 million views. Is that right?
Wow. Yeah, since we started, we've got 38 million views.
That's very
It's really humbling.
But you know, all this stuff, of course, it comes at a cost. Like we've had to sacrifice a lot to do what we're doing, and of course, the camera gear takes its beating.